Here we are, day 3 of the photography and video show. Okay, come and join us for the ride. We're here on the Canon stand. We've been given a show round, which has been great by Jamie, and we've got product specialist Medea, who we've spoken to.
We've spoken to before, haven't we? Yes, just seen you before.
Podcast. It's great. Now we're on it's a VR stand of the Canon, and we're going to get a special unveiling of this here. Now we're not allowed to touch this.
No.
You can have a look.
We can have a look, but actually we have got the privilege, the Canon opening just taking it off and having a closer look. So, Medea, I'll let you do it. I'll let you do that.
With the reveal.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
There you go.
There we go. Look at this.
So we have 3 different models here. The concept.
So 3 concept models.
Yeah.
So we have 2 stereoscopic lenses for APS-C cameras. And a compact camera that can do 360 or 180 3D VR. As I said, with the lens, the 2 lenses as they are for the 180 3D. You flip this lens to the other side and that gives you the 360. Plus you do have like 8K, 30, 4K 120, live streaming. What we're trying to showcase with this, because currently we already have the dual fisheye lens. That's been very popular. You can use it on the R5, R5C and the R6 Mark II.
Yeah.
With the EOS VR utility. We try and showcase obviously future products or potential products that can come out to expand the range and have different solutions for different audiences, different price points as well. Because the applications are great with these, but that might be probably too expensive for certain productions, whereas hopefully with these in the future, there'll be a lot more. So the reason we've got the VR headsets over there, the Quest 3, is because we've got some content planned and been shot on the R6 Mark II, on the R5 as well.
Yeah.
We also have some content that currently not playing because it's been putting some people off because it was done with Canon Italy and Canon Medical.
Right.
Training medical students on ultrasound. You can imagine where you see
It's not quite animals in a safari park, is it? No, it's a bit modest.
But just to showcase different applications where VR can be used.
Yeah. So Canon are breaking new ground, aren't they? There's constant innovation going on, and I see that. I quite see it more from Canon than anyone else.
I do see it a lot. I mean, we just walked past a Bluetooth speaker lamp thing that Canon are sort of trialling, aren't they? So yeah, a lot of new things.
I think at the moment, loads of people might say it's too early for VR, but we want to be leading the way when it comes to VR.
Yeah.
And it might be, obviously, as I said, we've got products, but it's about educating people as well.
Yeah.
We're trying to showcase that our system or solution is very simple to use. As I said, it's one camera, one lens, EOS VR utility software or a plugin, one file as well, so it's a more simplified setup and workflow as well.
And you've got to think about new generations that are coming into the industry. The world's evolving, there's new technology, and that new technology is just going to be the norm to them.
Yeah.
You know, and they want to learn something new. The world's moving, jobs are changing.
Yeah.
You know, the needs are going to be different as well. So things like this, we have to see development. We have to see.
There will be. I think we will see development from the capture side and from the headset side. I mean, there are so many VR headsets.
Yeah.
We've seen the Apple one, obviously, that everyone is excited about.
Yeah.
So in the next few years, we will see more.
Yeah.
As I said, from the capture side, we want to be those leading the way.
I mean, VR generally has been around, since the 80s, really, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And what I'm wondering is are you seeing a demand for this technology and the different uses and what it could be from? Because it's always been around and it hasn't quite sort of picked up.
I think it's because of the requirements or the needs, what you need, because you're looking at usually 2 cameras at least, 2 lenses, rigging, extensive hours editing, because you obviously you shoot into at least 2 sensors. You're going to have to edit the exposure, etc. Whereas with this, 2 images into 1 sensor, so we need to realign or stitch.
So it's making it easier to do, isn't it? Yeah.
But it's cheaper because it's only 1 camera.
And what kind of, where do you envision that like the end user will be? Obviously, we're speaking about the VR headsets. Is this something you envision people doing at home, everyone with VR headsets on, or is this more things for the medical community? Or
it's, I think the applications are endless.
Yeah.
At the moment, as I said, the one that we did for education, but you can see it being used in engineering. I can personally see travel agent, for example, filming different locations and seeing in the headset. It's a different experience. So kind of how they sell it to you. Estate agents, students with lecturers, and as I said, there are so many applications where it can be used. Plus, in the future, as I said, we see more affordable solutions like something like this. You see even, because there are loads, obviously, content creators that usually use smaller solutions, we see more of probably more fun VR content.
And the other thing is, we talk about AI, we talk about VR, and we sort of say, what's going to happen to the photographers? What's going to, are we going to be needed and that type of thing?
well, this is taken away from that.
Well, but this is my point. Actually, this just goes to show that photographers are going to be needed moving forward.
Yeah.
Because the innovation is there. We just sort of think, well, is this going to, are we coming, how will we shoot in weddings? Are we still VR?
Someone did actually earlier said that. So using this, like even the when you do the couple shoot, for example, or filming, this is something that a wedding photographer, videographer can actually do differently to stand out. So
Great stuff. Excellent stuff. Brilliant stuff. Thank you. Okay, guys, we are here in the Canon stand, this private little booth, and we're with Igor Demba.
Hello there.
Igor has been named the top wedding photographer in the world by Harper's Bazaar. So, congratulations on that. That's a huge achievement.
Must have been well chuffed with that, right?
Yes, very much so. And I guess, really, to achieve something like that, you've got to be, one, obviously, we know very, very good at what you do, but also, you've got to have that niche. That's something where you can differentiate yourself from what a lot of other amazing photographers are doing out there. What have you done to differentiate yourself? How have you approached that? What's your approach been to say, hey, look at me?
Yeah, such a good question. And I find that as creatives, it's such an important thing to very much study our industry. And me, I've done that for a long, long time. I really love to study other photographers, and not just wedding photographers, but photographers from all different aspects, and learn from them and try to bring that within my own work. So the way I shoot, the way I present my images, curation, which is super, super crucial. It's one of the things that's super, super important. And then bringing your own character and things that you love about your own work and lifestyle in general into the forefront. So I love travel in general, so destination weddings just literally made sense, and I put that across my work a lot. For example, you find a specific gallery within my work called Wanderlust, which is literally just for travel photography. It's just loads of landscapes, drone shots, and all sorts of different things that will attract like-minded couples into that sort of work. So yeah, Harper's Bazaar was amazing for that, really, and the category that I won within the World's Best was literally on travel, because my work very much says that. So yes.
So when it comes to the saturated market, and I guess everyone's trying to sort of make their way, for some photographers, very much an entry into photography as well. They might have wanted to do something else, but there's sort of work that's out there straight away. People can start earning, and it's very easy to become doing the work that's repetitive. Your style becomes repetitive, and you've got to get out there and practice, not practice, but find a style that works for you. Okay. So when you work with a couple, is it more about? Is there a real balance between what they want and what you do here? When they approach you and say, look, we love your style, how do you work with a couple, to say, look, this is what I do, and it's a little bit different, maybe.
It is very much a collaboration all the way through, from the booking process to literally to the wedding day, even afterwards, because it's their wedding day, and I don't want to come in as if it's a fashion shoot and let's do this and that. Yes, I've got my vision, and I will have researched the location. It's scouted really well. So I've got a really good idea. I want to hear their ideas, because I want them to be excited about it as well. And so yes, it's very much a collaboration. It's super, super important, because those are the clients that will recommend you towards other people, and And whenever people look at my work, they see couples, and they always, most of the time, say that your couples look so relaxed. And the reality is that they look relaxed because they are relaxed, even though sometimes couples can maybe very much daunted at the idea of having been captured for the first time. We usually tend to be really stiff, but no, it's all right, because I very much introduced that relaxedness to it, really, and we work together in order to create the best images.
And that's the thing about a photographer. The best photographers are the ones where, we've got a lot of people out there where you can just go and grab somebody from out there, bring them in, and immediately make them feel relaxed in front of a camera. That's the skill of the photographer, because when it comes to wedding photography, there's some great photographers out there. I'm talking just photography in general, but they're not necessarily good with people. Okay, and that's the balance. And
really is.
And I always say that to be a really good wedding photographer, you've got to be able to take, whether it's a bride and groom or a group of 300 people, and immediately be able to take charge and make them feel immediately relaxed. And that's I think where the real skill of the photographer comes in, doesn't it?
I find that it's super important to be able to read the room, but not just read the room, but read a couple, really. If they're quite quiet and they come with that sort of like quiet energy, I'll turn it down to them. I literally start at that. If they're really energetic, I better bring it as well, in order to very much feed off of that and create images that very much represent them, because that's their character, really. So
because I've always said,
I was just going to sort of change it a little bit, because you're here at the show now and you're talking about destination weddings. So what was the main thing? What was it you were talking about today?
So today the talk was very much on finding inspirations through different photography aspects, and at the same time how photographers can very much differentiate themselves within the industry, which is super, super important. Literally, as you said, the market is so saturated and it's so easy to very much jump into the market, but as soon as you're in the market, what do you do? How are you going to make yourself stand out? And the talk was very much about that.
So if you were going to say, I would say 3 main tips on how to do that, what would you say?
I would say very much learn the industry and study it very well, rather than just simply scrolling through Instagram and double tapping all the way through. Stop whilst you're double tapped, but at the same time analyze yourself. Why did I actually like that image? What is my eye really gravitating towards it? Print out your own work where you'll be able to really see specific tonalities that keep appearing, tones and lights that you love to shoot. If you really print it out and put it all out, you'll find specific correlations that are very much about your work and very much create your own identity, really, and really hone in on that. So very much study your industry, study your own work, and that's one tip.
That's fine. I mean, inward looking is very important. I mean, I know as wedding photographers, if you got like, especially in the height of summer, you may have, 10 weddings in a couple of months or something. It's very much kind of like, you got that one done, on to the next one. So we sometimes forget, actually, it's very important to, once the editing process is done, because you're not really probably looking, you're just trying to make sure everything is right for the client. But to actually have that self-analysis, it's sometimes hard to take time to do.
Yes, it really is. Really, really is, but it's really important. Another one I would say is to just connect with your peers, connect with the vendors as much as possible. Networking can be daunting sometimes, especially when you're in a big show like TPS, but it's super, super important, even if it's through emails, DMs, wherever it might be. Just connect with as many people and create your own network of friends and vendors, because those are the people that will help you as a stepping stone, and you help them, they help you, and everything else, and you'll be able to create incredible work because of that, really. So
very cool, very cool. So obviously destination wedding photographer, where's the craziest destination you've been to? Well, it's been like,
probably the longest journey that I took, 2.5 days, Bora Bora. So
nice, man.
that was beautiful, absolutely incredible. So yes. Somewhere that I would love to go to is Japan. Japan is somewhere that I'm itching to get into and really capture the culture.
Blossom season.
Yes, blossom season and everything about it, really. The people, the culture. So yes.
I've got sort of my sort of last question is, and I think a lot of people are going to sort of want to know this, was just very briefly, what was your route into getting to where you are now? So from sort of studying, sort of finishing school and getting into photography. What was that educational route that you took?
It was very much to that second point that I said, in terms of connecting with as many people as possible, really, because through that connection with other photographers, they recommended me to my first destination wedding, and that way things just kind of like skyrocketed from that, really. So yeah, that really, really helped.
Yeah, it's who you know, connecting with people, and that's why I was saying you've got to be prepared, not just on the wedding day, to be out there with people, and be confident.
Yes.
One thing, one final point, Mark, is, I get photographers that say, I'm really into photography, but I really like to just take those pictures that people don't know that I'm taking, where they don't really know I'm there.
Yeah.
And that always sort of gets alarm bells ringing, because I always think that they're photographers that are not necessarily confident, because there's a barrier there between photographer. The camera becomes a barrier because they're really quiet. Yeah. You never hear a quiet paparazzi photographer, do you? You're talking constantly behind the camera. I wanted to do this, but you're doing it in a way where you're making people feel relaxed. And I think those are skills that people really have to get in on, and not think, I'm just going to be quiet behind the camera and take those quiet bits and things. Yeah,
I think there's a time and place for that.
Yeah,
and through the day I'll have completely different dynamics.
Yeah,
in the morning, and it probably would be very much like that fly on the wall.
Yeah,
just getting them used to having me shooting around.
Yeah,
and then comes the ceremony. If I need to get a shot, I'll get a shot. And after that, it'll be literally documentary style, moving in and out, and yes.
Do you tend to have a second with you as well?
It depends. It depends of the wedding. It depends of the size of it, but
how far away it is, I guess.
Exactly. But I love having seconds. I love having seconds because there's a banter that gets going. Really, it's very much of a team spirit, and yes, and even me seconding for other photographers, I love that as well, because it just allows me the creativity to literally just go and experiment, try different things. So yeah, super crucial.
Brilliant.
Awesome stuff. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, still at the Canon stands. We've all passed this, and I need to know, what is this? What's going on here?
For probably the second year, we brought our PTZ camera, so pan, tilt, and zoom cameras to the photography show.
Yep.
This is our top-of-the-range indoor PTZ, the CRN 700. And we have our top-of-the-range PTZ controller, where you can control. This is the one where you can actually you've got the screen, so you can view what the camera is viewing. You can control 100+ cameras. You can have each of the cameras, you can use up to 100 presets.
Wow.
With this, there is a paid upgrade where you actually have the tracking. So in applications where you don't have someone using the pan and tilt while you're controlling it, it will basically track the person. It follows them around. Like if we look at education lecturers, for example, moving across, performance in theatre or something like that, music band. So it can actually follow that person. So it moves on its own, tracks on its own. And
it's really high-end event stuff, isn't it?
This particular one is, but we do have different ones. So there are two CRN 500 which sits below this that we've sold to actually a number of universities that have been used in education. And then we have a 300 and CRN 100 which are smaller. Again, so house of worship, education, where you can have a group of cameras. I think it all started off during COVID, where we couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't gather anywhere. And then we also have two other controllers. So again, that different solutions, different audiences, and different price points. The basis or technology-wise on these is actually it uses the technology from our professional camcorders. So with this, it's like the XF605 professional camcorder engine in there. And then with the CRN 500 and the 300, you're looking at the XA models as well. So
this is the sort of stuff you get, with gigs and things, I'm guessing. This is...
Even might not be a Canon, but the high-end ones, you can see them Big Brother and some of the... Because it's not about someone with the camera walking around following those people. It's actually just the PTZ doing its own work.
That's fantastic. This is the other end. This is the stuff that we don't do a lot of, isn't it, Cam?
We're going to be talking about mobile phone photography. We're talking about your DSLRs, mirrorless. You're talking about. We're taking AI, VR, everything.
But the good thing, the good thing for us about our PTZ is there is what we call the XC protocol, which is like a language that our PTZ cameras our cinema cameras, C70, C300 III and C500, they can actually all be used in one setup, controlled by this, and even actually the XF605. Yeah, and there are no other manufacturers that have that kind of solution, yeah.
And it comes back to me, what I find really quite fascinating is this new generation that's coming into the industry. What's now going to open doors for them? What are they going to be able to do? What are they going to have that access to that's different? The world's moving on, and technology is moving faster than ever before. And I think the opportunities that the younger generations have, I think, is incredible for education.
There are so many apps as well, like even as I said, for our cameras with FC protocol, there is a multi-camera control that you can actually run it from your smartphone or tablet to control cameras. So
it's exciting. It's exciting stuff, isn't it?
Absolutely. Cool. Thank you very much.
Okay, so Minia, we're on the sort of main camera stand here. What's hot this year? What would you say is the most popular camera in the Canon range right now?
I would say they're all popular.
Yeah.
R6 Mark II, as an example, has been very, very popular because since, we've had since the last photography and video show in September 2022. We launched 4 more cameras, including the R6 Mark II. So for some of the cameras that we have here, it's their first appearance at the photography show, and hence the R6 Mark II, the R8 as well, R50 and the R100. So we now have that complete range from the very entry level up to the R3. The R5 obviously is still a very popular model. We've got amazing offer at this show, so that helps. And then the R3, but as I said, usually the R5, the R6 Mark II, the R8 that we find, I think, having to talk more about it, because I think maybe the naming sometimes. I call it the R6 Mark II little sister because it did inherit a lot from the R6 Mark II. So you can think of it as the R6 Mark II in a smaller, lighter body, an affordable body as well. R7, continuing on the 7 series and the 7D kind of heritage, so it's always been popular, sports, wildlife. R50 for loads of content creators, and even the R100 for like family, holidays, birthdays.
Actually, that was going to be one of my questions. What's the smallest full frame sensor camera there is?
So the smallest and lightest is actually the R8.
Is it really?
It's even lighter than the RP. The body design is pretty much the RP, but it is lighter than the RP, so it is our smallest full frame.
I think that's such a useful camera, that is, for so many different reasons. Just for travel, it's small, it's light. People can use it for a variety of reasons rather than jumping up into that full DSLR range, and I love that.
That's on the photo side, but there are actually more people now using it as a second camera to the R6 Mark II for video, using it with the R5 as well, because it did inherit some of the new video features that we put on our mirrorless cameras.
Now I've got to ask a question, and I'm not sure if you'll be able to give me an answer, but I'm going to ask anyway. Nikon have brought out their flagship camera. I think Sony have got theirs. When's the R1 happening? What's happening with that?
We don't know. I mean, all I can tell you about is we currently have amazing products that those photographers can still use at the Olympics, like the R3. I mean, the R3 is still a popular camera. I think even though we've launched, the R5 close to about 4 years ago, the R3 2021, but with the firmware, what we've done with the EOS R system is adding features, enhancing performance of the camera, which is different to what we did with the SLRs.
That's a really good deflection of the question. I like that. That was very good, very good.
But with the Olympics, Olympic year, that's a real moment for manufacturers. With new things,
it could be the R1. Right? We can't say that.
When new things, in all seriousness, but new things come out, and it's a great sort of it's a great moment for manufacturers.
It is, I think, it's the expectation, because I think for the last, probably for as long as I could remember, there was always a 1 series or a flagship camera in the Olympic year. But as I said, the 1DX Mark III is still our flagship camera if we're talking the whole still range. But the R3 has been doing amazingly well. The R6 Mark II and the R5 are used in sports and in sports as well. So
I've got one final question on DSLR. So we're not talking mirrorless. Are they still being manufactured?
We're still, we have here the 1DX, we've got the 5D4, we've got some of the EF lenses. I mean, they will continue to exist for now.
Yes.
We know that for us, the RF EOS system and the RF mount is the future.
Yeah.
So eventually, there'll come a point where we won't have the digital SLRs.
Yes.
But at the moment, they're still there here.
For manipulation, yeah, brilliant. Okay, great. Okay, so guys, we're talking to Paul here at Manfrotto, and we're going to be looking at the Move product that you're going to demo to us. Now, we've reviewed this product. Manfrotto sent us going back some time ago when it first came out, and
we quite liked it, didn't we?
I think it's one of the best products for photographers and videographers. So, Paul, do you want to tell us a little bit more about Move and how it works?
Absolutely, yeah. So, how big? If I grab a tripod here, now, in the past, if you ever are using a tripod with a head, you would always screw the head on, and it takes time to screw that. You might be using a ball head and ball and socket head at one point, and then you might be using a video head at the second point. So with this, what you can actually do with the Move adapter, which is just this part here, pop the tripod out there. Yep. So this is your Move adapter. This screws on top of the actual tripod, like so, and then I can pick any head. So if I want a ball head, I can just pop it straight in, and now I can put my camera straight on and I'm ready to work. Yeah. So I'm doing my job, I'm working away, and suddenly I'm going from photo to video, so I can now take the photo head off and I can get a video.
You just get an adapter on the top
head, and again pop the camera straight on, and again I'm ready to go straight away. So it's just a quick and efficient way in working. That unscrewing that head off that 3/8 thread takes a while, and time is money. Time is money for a lot of people. So
it's also good, I think, because I move sometimes from a tripod to a monopod, and just to have those things on there, just go boop, boop, on there, and then you're not wasting any time screwing and unscrewing. I think it's such a simple thing.
Yeah, and you know what? People use gimbals for video. Yeah. So there's options. You can use them with gimbals as well. It's just it's part of our ecosystem of products, really.
And also the fact that once you've put that on, it's on there permanently. The actual Move product, because I don't like unscrewing the tripod head. I think you never get it back on as tightly as it should be. But also, what it does is it gives you less equipment to carry around when you're on a shoot. Something like that just fits with the palm of your hand. So it throws it in a backpack and whatever. One tripod rather than two with heads. It lightens a load.
There is a stat that most people that own a tripod do have 2 to 3 heads, for different uses. So actually, it's important that you can make it efficient, and it's quick to pack down as well.
Well, I think it's one of the best products I've seen to do within photography anyway, because I just think it's such a useful product.
Well, we really liked it, didn't we, when we reviewed it? But that was on audio, so it's nice to actually get a video look at it now. And
do you know what? They're really well machined as well. They're a good, solid product. It's a great product.
So what are we looking at price-wise? What's it retailing at?
Price-wise, retail is $91.95. Okay. Again, show price today, we're doing them at £67 at the show. So again, that's for this part and the adapter. Yeah. You can buy the adapter separately. So if you've got 2 or 3 heads, you can buy separate ones. So you can just buy one of these, or you can buy plenty of these for different kits.
And the thing is, I know Manfrotto equipment lasts. I've had a tripod, I call it rusty now because I've had it for over 30 years. And it's a little bit stiff here and there, but that's a product built to last. And less than £100, I think it's you've got something that's not going to wear out. It's a no-brainer, really. Okay, so we're here talking to another Paul from Manfrotto, and we're looking at the tripods, mainly geared for videographers this time, aren't we? And this is something that's called the FAST system, which I think is really good because I do a lot of video and carrying gear around, and it's heavy and you want to get it in position quickly as well. Do you want to tell us about it? And let's see what it actually does.
Cool. Yeah, so first of all, FAST is part of our Pro Video offering, and it's a tripod system that's available with a range of different heads, and it does what it says on the tin. I think, as you've already alluded to, when you're shooting content, the last thing you want to be worrying about is how much time you've got to spend setting up your kit. So the quicker that is, the faster you can get into doing doing what you want to do, capturing the footage, get in, get out. And this is what fast allows you to do. So, why is it called fast and what does it do? First of all, it's fast because you've got a very simple mechanism to actually set this up and down. Lock it, you're away.
That's really
quick. I mean, compared to what you do at weddings, you're messing about with the one that you've got. That's just boom, 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 isn't it?
It is.
Really good.
And all the locks are done by one lever on each leg. So like we said before, you can just take it up, get it to the height that you want, and off you go.
Wow.
And what I like about this is it's solid.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a flimsy little screw or a tiny little clip, because you always.
I mean, it's Manfrotto. What do you expect? You know, it's
exactly, that's right. Yeah, and
been a bit bomb.
you can feel that grip that it has. You can feel that it's clicked into place, and you know that it's safe and solid as well.
Absolutely. And you know what? And it's built to be used in anger. It's built to be there as a tool that's used for jobs. But there's a couple of other nice features as well to it. So it uses the standard 75 or 100mm bowls, and actually the tripods will do both. So here, the 75mm ring has actually been screwed in and it's in the box. Yeah. But if you want to put a bigger head on it, you can undo that and you have a 100mm bowl underneath.
Okay.
So it's actually scalable for different sizes.
Scalable.
Yeah. Not only that, the head and the bowl are separate. So if you want to use things like the Manfrotto Move adapter, to quick release the head, so you could use that. And thirdly, you don't actually have to use the spreader. So this spreader, it's on here now. Whilst, a standard feature for a lot of video tripods, if you didn't want to do that, you don't have to with these tripods because you still have leg angle options on here. So if I just take it down again to its smaller size. So what we can do, you can see the leg angles on here. So you can pull them out to different pieces. So you pull it all the way out, so they'll go through a nice low level.
You get some really nice low shots with that.
Absolutely.
That's really good, yeah.
And they've got these strong articulated feet. So, good.
I think that's really valuable because the way I'm doing it at the moment is I'm sort of unscrewing it, getting it into position, then screw it, and then do the next. So everything here, it just seems to click into place.
Yeah, and really, really quick.
That's right. And the one thing that you said I think is really interesting is that people want to do things much quicker these days. When you're with a client, they don't seem to have time these days. I always feel under pressure when I'm with a client to go in, get it set up, get it shot, get out of their way. And I think things like this just speed up the workflow.
Absolutely. There's an oft-used phrase, which is time is the new currency, and I'm a big believer in that. And anything that saves you time makes you money. And so a fast system like this is exactly that. Very flexible, very capable, but actually still quite good value in the video market as well.
What is the price range on something like this?
So you can buy the tripods on their own from about £600.
Yeah.
You can buy in a range of kits depending on the different head requirements that you have. We do this in aluminium or we do it in carbon fibre as well.
Yeah.
So the carbon fibre is going to be a little bit lighter, a little bit more rigid. It also doesn't get cold to touch like aluminium does as well. But both super strong tripods will hold 25 kilos of kit. Okay. So, you're not going to need that much. So it's definitely got the support and capability. It's a Manfrotto product, which means it's nuts and bolts, it's adjustable, it's repairable. You've got great spares and repairs as a backup on it. So, you have a product which, you can rely on. You don't have to worry about it. It'll allow you to go and do your job.
I think that's important because I think a lot of people don't value tripods. They don't value a quality product. They will think £600 for a tripod. Why am I spending that much? Well, I can go and buy one for £50 or something from Amazon. They really do think like that. Yeah. Okay, but I would say if you've got the right kit, you've got the right camera, you need the right tripod that goes with it because the quality of your final footage is going to depend on your whole kit. You need to spend the right amount of money on a tripod, and it's going to last you for years.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, Manfrotto have always been the higher end, haven't they? Whenever you're buying a tripod, Manfrotto's always been the higher end. But there's a reason for that. I mean, I've got the same tripod I've had for about 20 years, and it's a Manfrotto. Yeah. And that is why they are the price they are.
Yeah. And, you make a good point. In a market like this, where there's lots of breakthrough technology, people are changing cameras on a regular basis, memory cards on a regular basis, batteries on a regular basis. Tripods, get it, fight it well, and it will last you a long time.
Exactly, that's right. Yeah,
even innovations like the Move, I can still use that with my 20-year-old tripod. It's good.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I've had mine. The big one I've got. Yeah, saying to Paul earlier on, it's called Rusty as a name now. I've had it for over 35 years. yes, it's a little bit stiff and it's very cold when you pick it up, but yeah, it's, money well spent that was. So
it is, and of course, it fits into an ecosystem as well. So as you see around us, the tripod just over here, so it fits onto our dollies if you want to use it in a studio environment. You obviously can change heads to it. You can put a slider on it. You could use it to support a jib and other pieces. They're a tool that allows you to do a creative job.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Well, thank you very much.
Cool. Okay, cheers. Okay. Yeah. Okay, hi. I'm talking to Danny from Lowepro, and Danny, you're one of the designers at Lowepro, which is going to be really interesting to talk about because you're going to talk us through this new bag that Lowepro have got.
Yep.
And you were actually involved in the design of this, weren't you?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I want to say as well, I'm particularly excited about this because my bag is part of this family, the Trekkers. Yeah. And I absolutely love mine, so I'm interested to see what this one's like.
So for photographers and videographers, a bag is crucial, to protect the equipment, carry around easily. So tell us about the bag, and I'm interested because you were involved in the design.
Yeah, so I worked on the older Pro Trekkers, the 2, and then this is the newest thing that we have in Pro Trekker 2. The big difference on this is that big internal space, so you can do a 600mm lens on body.
Wow.
Also just gives you a lot of space if you're doing video gear, lots of space. And then full-size harness, all-day carry comfort you want from a Pro Trekker. Yeah. Since this is such a large bag, we have an active lift harness, so you can get good torso adjust.
Cool. Yeah.
And then on this one versus the other current Pro Trekkers, we switched to back access. So throw this down in the mud, keeps your harness clean.
Yeah, I did notice it opens a different side to mine.
Yeah, so that's one of the big differences if you're comparing between the 650 and the 550.
Yeah.
And then because it's back access, we've given the front more coated materials. This is a polyurethane coating on the front, carbonate PU coating on the front, and the waterproof zipper into the laptop space.
Yeah.
The idea with this laptop space is really more for travel. Most people taking this much gear out in the field, we don't expect them to be carrying a laptop in the field.
Yeah.
But you can get your laptop with you while you're traveling. Ditch the laptop in the hotel while you're there. And then you got 2 accessory straps. You can set up a tripod on the front. Big tripod cup down here.
Yeah.
So you could do like a big Jitso or something like that. Dedicated tripod on the side as well. It's also good for like slider rails and things like that if you're doing time lapses. And then you can do a tripod on the front, 2 tripods, rails, a lot of combinations of stuff. And then hydration on this side.
Yeah.
You can hang the hydration here, run the hose out that way. A lot of this is similar to the 550. We just flipped it around so it all worked well for back access. So like this pocket, your back access, camera gear, but you can still get into this pocket on the side there.
Yeah.
And then this one also has a new lid. So this will attach on the top. You've got straps. You can attach whatever you want on the top. It's good for like jackets and things like that. Yeah, I'm gonna snag over there. So you've got the lid you can attach on the top, and then it comes with a shoulder strap. So when you're traveling, you can also just use this as like a quick little sling bag.
Yeah.
This is right up to the edge of carry-on size, which is like belt remove, no lid on the bag. The goal being you could get your gear onto the plane. Be prepared to maybe have a conversation about it at the gate, but you should be able to talk this onto a plane.
Well, it's a bit longer than my one, which is the 450.
Yep.
And I managed to get that on right there.
Oh, so, yeah. The 450 and the 350 should be no problem
at all.
Yeah, the 550, 650, a little bit bigger.
I'm seeing really this is just a bit longer than mine. I don't think it's any particular...
No, the depth should be the same, because it's still the same depth for a portrait grip body.
Yeah.
The difference is at the bottom here, you get a little more depth.
Yeah.
So this will fit your big lens hood at the bottom.
Yeah.
The advantage of being it fits the hood, and that also just bumps out into the lumbar to give you a good, comfortable fit for all-day carry comfort.
So when you're designing a camera bag and you've got a bag like this, let's take a wedding photographer, for example. What would you say are the 3 most important things for a photographer that's going to buy a bag? I need to buy a bag. What are the 3 things, would you say, the top 3 things to making sure that you buy the right bag? What questions do you need answering?
For me, I mean, a lot of people have been coming by saying, what bag do I need?
Yeah.
I think the first thing I usually start with is, what gear do you want to carry?
Yeah.
Because that can be pretty prescriptive to the size, the layout of the bag. And then what other stuff do you want to carry? So if like a wedding photographer,
company does typically, they want, it's just gear.
Yeah.
So like if you want just gear, something like a Pro Trekker is really good because it's just designed for gear. If you want to do kind of a day of activities, maybe half camera, half other stuff, we have stuff like Fast Act.
Yeah.
That starts to be a mix of things. And then I think the next user that we really cater to is serious outdoor. This is still serious outdoor, but outdoor and doing a little bit more trekking and more overnight work. And then the larger stuff, the Photosport Pro and Photosport X, start to be a good bag for that user who's doing maybe a smaller kit but needs space for a lot of the other tents and other camping and hiking equipment they need.
The essentials you need for overnight stay in the wilderness.
Yes. I think the camera gear, the other gear, and then really what your scenario and other gear and scenario assignment kind of go hand in hand, work together.
Yeah. Well, I love my Trekker. I think it's a brilliant bag. I particularly like the insert to this. I'm really interested to see what's in here and the sort of thing you have. Okay.
Big all weather cover. This one's reinforced on the bottom.
Okay, cool.
A lot of people will use this like also as just a seat or something.
Yeah.
While they're shooting.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, one of the things that the inside of the 450 has those compartment bits.
Oh yeah, I think this guy's got no. So you've got a laptop carry in the front, a couple pockets. This doesn't have the same insert as the 550, that removable one, but you've got the organization on the door. If you wanted to add other bits like that, you've got a lot of stuff in gear up on the wall over there. So you can add those. Those are all sized to fit into here quite well.
Yeah. No, I think you can fit. I can fit pretty much all my gear in mine. So, I mean, with this one, you're going to fit it all in, aren't you? So, what a great bag.
Great. Okay, that's great.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so at the photography bar, there's always exclusive access, and we are here with Sony behind. Okay, so and we're with Luke, events marketing manager, and thank you for joining us, Luke. So, what's hot on the Sony stand camera-wise?
Two new hot products. Well, 3 products, 2 cameras, 1 lens. So I'm going to take you through first. The first one would be the ZV-E1, which is kind of a full-frame vlogging camera, and this is really incredible. So this is going to give you the ability to shoot in 4K, 60 frames per second, up to 120 frames per second. Also has all of our latest AI technologies as well. So face recognition for humans, for birds, for insects, for trains. The AI face recognition technology is so good, we can choose between left eye, right eye, and it will process and track. Now, this is fantastic for vloggers. You know, it's going to give you the ability to flip the screen around, keep that on you. You no longer using a crop sensor. You know, you've got a full frame sensor being able to record really high quality formats, which is going to be great for putting on YouTube and stuff like that. So this is a really sought after product, and a lot of people are coming to see it specifically as it's a hybrid camera. No EV like viewfinder. It's just got a tilt out screen that we can use to adjust. On the front of this, we have a really interesting lens. So we have a 24 to 50. 24 gives us the ability to shoot wide with 2.8 all the way through. So if you are a hybrid shooter and you're forced between shooting stills and video, you've got the option to shoot really wide in video and cropping, but then also you can go to that nifty 50 range to shoot portraiture for that kind of young up and coming content creator that's kind of merging between stills and video. I've got a camera that can service both of those, so that's really high look sort of sought after these 2 products here. But the flagship stuff is the A9 Mark III combined with the 300.
Difference, isn't it?
It's a slight difference between the two. That's how I would.
Yeah.
I've heard that one before. So the A9 Mark III, so this is new technology that's driving this. So this is a global shutter sensor. So with a traditional sensor, you have 2 shutters up and down, a lock. When you reach a certain point, you can't do that very fast, so you insulate over the top of the sensor. That gives you problems around shutter speed, for instance, or flash duration shutter speed. So you can only work up to 250 per second. With this, you don't have that. So in theory, what that means is you could go have the sun backlighting you really harshly, use a strobe setup and expose your subject correctly in a single exposure, so you can capture both elements of the light without that insulation. So a real high-end professional feature. But what you also get with a global shutter is speed. So this will allow us to shoot at 120 frames per second. And if that isn't enough, we've also added a 1-second pre-capture. So what the pre-capture will do is, as soon as you lock focus on that on the subject, it starts recording in 0.1 increments. So you can do 0.1 all the way through to a full second, and it's just recording that for. So just in case you feel like you've not quite got the shutter timing right, you've already recorded a second beforehand anyway, so you shouldn't miss the shot in theory. Combined with this is our new 300mm 2.8 all the way through.
Right.
So in terms of like a top-end sports photographer with the Olympics in mind later in the year, this is a combination to go to. You've got speed, and it's very rare you can hold a 300mm lens at 2.8 with a body one-handed.
Yeah.
Right, fella.
Oh, yeah, that's incredibly light and easy to hold. But yeah, it's got that. It feels solid as well. But there's no way you would normally hold a lens with that wrist. Oh.
No, I get that, yeah.
It looks to me like the ergonomics have changed. It's become a little bit rounder.
Correct, yeah. So we changed the ergonomics. One thing you will notice with the trigger finger, what you tend to do with a camera like this when you're holding it is your palm rests into the base here, and that naturally tilts your finger upwards. So having a flat surface means you have to then anchor. So you'll notice there's a slight lip on there, which means the trigger sits really comfortably underneath your finger. The bezel is also deeper as well for the grip. So this is designed to be working for a sports event, holding onto it for hours on end and not feeling kind of the strain.
Because one of my experience with Sony, one of the things that it was like just a negative on the previous ones is that bit there always dug into, right? And I found that really uncomfortable.
Boxy, wasn't
That's right, yeah.
So we made an adjustment on there. A couple of other things we've adjusted.
Really,
On the grip system, this little the locking nut for the grip system before sat on the surface, and the problem with that is when your camera is sat next to your chest, after a while it starts to rub, it starts to break. So we've now indented that in underneath the screen. We also have a screen that tilts out in every kind of angle you could imagine. So whatever you're shooting, you're going to be able to tilt the screen to adjust. And then the last thing that we've added from an ergonomics perspective is you've got a customizable key here. And it's also doubled up as the boost button. So for instance, if you're shooting at maybe 60 frames per second, but then you need access to the 120 frames per second, just push your finger in, and that can then automatically switch to it doubling the shutter speed. So that's a new feature that's on there as well. And again, it's just designed for working professionals, trying to sort of save them from repetitive strain injury, basically, just by making sure a camera is well designed.
I think that was my only gripe really with Sony, wasn't it? There was this bit at the bottom there was dug into my head. Oh, that sounds crazy, doesn't it? But it's a big thing when you're shooting all the time.
If you're using this equipment all day, comfort in using it is just as important as everything else, really.
The big thing we did with the first iteration of the A9 and then the A9 Mark II and stuff is like put them in the hands of professionals and then spent real time understanding what they liked and what they didn't like. Trying to take all of those learnings and then embed them into the Mark III, rather than us as engineers, or the engineers going, okay, right, we think we know what's right. They're not working professionals. Let's talk to the working professionals, take that feedback and then design a product around that. And we've been able to encompass it in this, and so far the reports are really, really, really good.
Go back to this camera and sort of the balance. When you get people come up now, most people come up and say, you might say, well, what sort of photography do you do? Do you get people that actually now come to you and say, don't use the word photographer at all? They'll say, I'm a content creator, I'm a vlogger.
100%.
And they don't think of themselves as a photographer. So
Look at the show. The show changed its name a few years ago into the photography and video show. It shows how much of a segment that market is now consuming. Lots of people come up to us. I have a 13-year-old daughter. Isabella, what do you want to do? I want to be a content creator. I mean, it's now a genre of work that children aspire to be. So you need tools that allow them to do that. And mobile phones are fantastic at doing it. But we're starting to see the technology and the cameras catch up and be just as versatile.
So do you see that increasing over the years then, compared to maybe your traditional type photographer who want this kind of thing? The market is changing to the bloggers, to the content creators.
If you're an aspiring photographer, long term you wanted to be a professional sports photographer shooting sports teams and stuff, this is the holy grail. This is where you want to work to. We can't all get to there at a starting point. There's stepping stones to it. So this would give us the ability to do that. So as a starting point, it's not a case of when you start you're ill-equipped. You can now start with really good tools that can stick with you. So I think that's a really good starting point that's going to equip you to grow with your career. And then when you start to specialize as a creative, you can then drill into those specialist tools. So for instance, if you're a commercial photographer that shoots a range of products like in the studio, lifestyle stuff on location, the A1's fantastic for that because it's a great all-rounder. If you're doing a lot of heavy retouching work, the R5 is a fantastic app because it's so data rich, you can really pull those files apart. If you're shooting sports and you need speed, then you've got that, so you can start at an entry point with really good features. As you start to define and become pointy in your specialism, there's a tool that's there.
And it's scalable because, that's one of the great things about that. So that's your sort of entry level, I guess. And eventually would come a really good backup, wouldn't it?
Oh,
right,
that's full frame, isn't it?
Full frame, yeah.
It ticks so many boxes from that point of view. So what about sort of retail? People coming into this one here, what price are we looking at?
The body on its own comes at just under £2,000 body on. But we do also have a ZV Mark X, so that is a APS-C sensor. So if you didn't want to go for the full frame, you can go for a smaller sensor, which would be the entry point. So if you look to that, with a 16-50mm lens, you're looking at around about £600.
Right, that's really good.
£600. That's a big difference between the two, isn't it?
That's right.
And that's the difference between the APS-C sensor and the full frame. Also, again, you're starting out as a student, you're at university, who's got £2,000 as a student? No one. So £600, you're fully equipped to go do it. And there's not too much of a difference in terms of the technologies there. The big thing is the sensor size. And you go full frame, that's going to last you. It's a great size professional standard sensor.
Retail A9 body Mark III,
just over £6,000.
Just over six, That's the That's the Sony flagship.
Flagship in terms of speed and sport. You then also have the A1 as a general all-rounder. So I think again, if you look at the specialisms, we have a flagship in each of those. But if you're looking predominantly speed, this is the guy. If you're looking at resolution, the R5 is the one. If you're looking at something that can do both very well, then the A1 would be the.
So product photographers would be using, what would be the one for product?
Either the R5 or the A1. I would probably, me personally, I'd steer more towards the A5.
Right, okay, wedding photographers,
either the A1 or something like the A9 Mark II or the A9 Mark III.
Yeah, and that's going to be the same for portrait photographers.
Same for as well. If you're a portrait, you're doing a lot of heavy retouching. I would probably go to the R series, because when you start to play around with those files, it's data rich to play with in the first place. So that's where I would go for that.
Good stuff. Brilliant. Awesome. Okay, great, Luke. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much, Luke.
Right. Okay, guys. So we're here on the Nikon stand. We're talking to the stand manager here, Rob. Rob, thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
And you've got the Z8 in your hand. I'll ask you about that here in a moment. But straight away, what's hot on the Nikon stand? What is the camera that most people are interested in? Is there one?
I would say the Z8 in particular, because it's a really affordable pro spec model. It was actually the camera of the year last year. DP review camera, so everyone agrees with that over the whole world.
It's a high bar for DP reviews.
Not just us, but we've also got the amazing Z8, which is our retro style camera as well. So it's kind of based upon that sort of iconic Nikon film camera style, like the old FM2 and FE2 and so on. And that's available in lots of different colours, so that's attracting a lot of attention. But we've also got the flagship Z9, the ZFC, which is a smaller, sort of more consumer-based retro camera as well. So there's a lot of things that people are looking at the show.
So when people are looking for a model, obviously people have their own specialisms. You've got product photographers, you've got landscape photographers, you've got wedding photographers, portrait photographers. So if we're talking about sports photographers, for example, I'm assuming they're going to go for the flagship model. That's the one that's aimed, the Z9 is aimed for sports photographers, would you say?
For sure. I would say the Z9 would be the ultimate one to go for. Not everyone can justify that. So the Z8 is basically like a smaller Z9.
So what's the difference between this and the...
Effectively, they're very similar. In terms of the quality of images, there's no difference. They've got exactly the same sensor, same high ISO capability, same focusing and so on. The real difference is the ergonomics. So the Z9, it's slightly bigger, so you could argue that it's slightly more robust as well, but it's got a vertical control and a bigger battery grip. So if you're shooting like Premier League football or something like that, you'll need that bigger battery life because you're shooting a lot of images at high speed.
But the most important things sound like they're the same. So the sensor, pixelation, the ISO, all pretty much the same, which is marvellous.
Absolutely. So the Z8 would probably suit portrait photographers, wedding photographers,
any kind of photographers that wants a really good, reliable, well-built camera.
It's the all-round camera, I would say.
Absolutely.
So retail Z9, what's that averaging price?
So we'll quote the Nikon recommended retail, which is 5299 on the Z9, but I do understand that there are some good show deals with all the retailers here at the show. On the Z8, the recommended retail is 4000, but there are some really good deals on that.
Well, the show, we always know the shows are, here's
place to go.
Here's the place to go. Now, I've got two more questions with the Z50. Now, we're talking about the other end of the range here for affordability. Z range, that's the smallest full-frame sensor camera, is that right?
It's a DX crop sensor, so it's not full frame. If you wanted to go for the sort of the cheapest in the full frame, it would be the Z5 actually. Z50 is a crop sensor.
So the Z5. Now that's a remarkable camera. I think that's what I actually meant. It's such a small body. And I think it's great for travel stuff. I
mean, it would be a good first foray for a lot of photographers into mirrorless. Because we're speaking to people. We've had our mirrorless system for 5 years now, but there are still photographers that haven't quite made the move. And if they're not in the market for sort of one of the top end cameras like this, the Z5 would be a really good sort of entry level camera to consider. Absolutely. 24 million pixels, very good for video as well. So a lot of good specs in even the sort of a lower range of the cameras.
And I do love the retro style cameras that they are they're that fashion thing, aren't they?
It's also a bit of nostalgia, isn't it? Because we've grown up with film cameras, not everybody has. So
good point.
I mean, I guess for people like us, it's kind of nostalgia. But then again, for younger photographers, you never had to use those cameras.
that's right. Yeah.
You know, again, it's quite a nice thing to hold. Oh, this is what it was like. You know?
Absolutely, and on the ZF in particular, the dials are made of brass, like they were on the. So they're really tactile. You can really feel that. And the first time I got one into my house, because my first Nikon camera was actually an FE2, and I pressed the button and it felt just like one of the old cameras, and my thumb actually went like that. So it's really harks back to the original sort of classics.
Okay, so Red. Okay, can you tell us about?
I mean, what I can tell you is that we're really excited about it. Okay. We really don't have any details right now, and genuinely, that is, you know, I think it's going to be a while before we see anything happen. Yeah. But it's a really exciting prospect for Nikon, and I think there can be some synergies there, because they've got some really good technology. They've got great codecs. We know they're very respected in the video and the cinema industry, and I think it'll be a real stamp on the cinema industry for Nikon, because we are making great video cameras as it is. The Z8 and Z9 have got good specs, but we don't have quite that heritage in the industry. So I think it's a really bold move for Nikon, a really good move for everyone. So I can only see that good things are going to come out of it, but we don't know what just yet.
Is that, do you reckon that's why Nikon have made that move, just purely to get into that video market?
I think it's a really good inroad for Nikon to do that and to be associated with Netflix and things like that. Yeah. I think that will be a great thing for us. So watch this space, but I think it will be positive.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think it's great because, you know, you were talking about a quality brand already, and with Nikon, you know, if Nikon were trying to come out with something new themselves, it would take a while to filter into the industry.
It will do. Nothing's going to happen overnight, that's for sure. But it will be good when it does happen.
Cool. Oh, we're looking forward to know what's. It'll be really good. Really good.
Great. Okay, Rob, thanks for your time. Okay, great. Okay.
Thank you. Cheers.
Okay, so guys, we're behind the bar at the Fujifilm stand talking to Theo here. And what's your role here at the Fujifilm?
So I'm the general manager for imaging for the UK. I've been at Fujifilm 25 years now.
Right.
Yeah, our background's always been on imaging. And so, excited to meet you guys.
Yeah, good stuff. So, the camera that you've got in your hand, okay, which is, as it says here, the
X100
X106. That's a really hot camera right now.
Oh yeah, we're really excited about this. So X106 was announced on the 20th of February. And it hit the shops on the 28th of February. And the response and the feedback that we've had has been absolutely amazing. It's built on the success of the X100 V. Which was the predecessor. But one thing we can't forget about is actually the X100 series has been around since 2010. So it's been around for about 14 years now. And this is the sixth incarnation of this type of camera. And we're just so pleased that the following continues to build and build and build on the back of this, because there's a huge halo effect on the rest of the range that we have as well.
What demographic are the people who are really interested in this camera, would you say?
So what I'd say over the last 4 years, the demographic has broadened. I think originally you had a lot of photography enthusiasts that maybe shooting DSLR, maybe shooting a mirrorless system, might not be Fujifilm, but this was kind of their go-to hockey camera, which they can trust from a quality point of view, will give you just as good as pictures from the system that they were using. So, but then slowly evolved to become more of a reportage, more of a street photographer's go-to camera. And in the last 4 or 5 years, what we've seen is a shift to more, let's say, content creators. Let's say we've had celebrities buy into it. The amount of celebrities that bought into the camera as well has been phenomenal. Guarantee every single month we'll have a different type of celebrities in our inbox saying, I want one. Not about collaborating, I want one, how do I get one? Which is amazing, because it's not about the collab side, it's more about I've seen it, I think it's cool, I want one.
And lots of people, it's been hard to get hold of, hasn't it? Because
it is hard to get hold of, because the demand is way outstripped what we can actually produce. But that's not a bad thing. No, I mean, it's not a bad thing at all. Like any business, you try to plan as best you can. You try to be constructive with how you're going to foresee the kind of demand on it. And what we did, we moved our production facilities to China, where we can double the capacity of what we had on X100V. Unfortunately, that wasn't enough. So we're trying to do our best out to catch up.
It's a marvellous place to be, though, isn't it? You know, people, you got a product out there, and you just, like you say, people are clambering them over themselves just to get to this product, which is fantastic.
So with it, I mean, it's got that cool retro look, which is going to be appealing. It's got that silver metal, you know, It's everything about it feels so good. You know, so I guess really one of the reasons why there's this huge surge in popularity is this awareness of film simulation.
Yes. So film simulation is not a new thing for us. Film simulation is one of the features that we started when we launched X Series. Well, we've done those over the years, added more and more different types of film.
Well, it's great because there's something you guys have got in your locker other than, say, Canon and Nikon, because you know, I used Velvia, Provia, MPL, MPS, you know, all of those old films. So you've got that in your locker, whereas, you know, the other camera manufacturers don't. So it's
absolutely, it's taking all that knowledge from film. And because we are color science experts, right? So you take that knowledge from a film mode, film days, and how you translate it into our X series. But it's what's elevated it has been the X100. So there's the X100V previously, now to the X106. It has elevated the whole story around film simulation, and I think it's different types of demographics, right? So you have the demographic of, let's say, our age group, who remembers film, right? I'm a massive Velvia fan. I love Provia. I used to be shooting loads of slides. But then you've got a younger audience, right? So content creators that have come from an age of Instagram filters, and a lot of editing. So once they've seen and played with the different types of film modes, oh my god, that's quite cool. That's retro. That's different. Like we come at it in different ways, but ultimately, it's just amazing to hear all the kind of feedback.
Who is the main buyer of this kind of what?
There's not one main group. So you've got, as I said, still got a lot of enthusiasts who are upgrading from previous models. But now we're seeing a much younger crop of customers, a new age kind of consumer that hasn't got an allegiance to a particular brand, but loves the designs, loves the quality it can do, and having straight out camera. Because ultimately, none of us really want to shoot, sit on a laptop or sit on a computer, edit for hours and hours and hours. Want to go back to what we used to do. Stick a film in your camera, go out, shoot, have fun, right? It is bringing the fun back into photography.
Yeah, because it's this definite sort of rise in people actually using actual film, isn't there? That, you know, this interest is huge, and I think this is really the logical thing. You know, it's because it's all there for you. You know, something that's really classic and it's really easily attainable as well. And that's really
so. Just a quick general question. So, obviously, it's been busy here for you guys over this weekend. What's been going on your on your stand?
So the stand itself is a homage to House of Photography. So we launched House of Photography back in 2019 in London, and we had our troubled times during COVID, but now the store is flourishing. But the key thing for us is, as a brand, is having everything related to imaging. So whether it's capture or whether it's output, or whether it's having fun with Instax, we cover a lot of different bases. So the stand is designed to try and have different zones so everyone could come and immerse themselves in all the different areas.
And it's great because, again, just going back to what we were saying about the Velvia and the Provia, it's something that you guys have come through that film and you've embraced the digital, and other companies have fallen down when digital took over. You guys haven't, you know, and Instax is still popular.
Instax is one of the most popular aspects of what we do. It's great.
Yeah, I've got Instax. Yeah, they're great.
But the latest ones as well, again, they've become a lot more, you can be creative because the new Instax Mini 99, it's got the kind of these lightly modes. You can be a lot more manual with your
that kind of low-mo kind of feel to it.
No, it's really cool. The diverse range of Instax is fantastic. Really cool.
Excellent stuff.
Okay, right, guys. So I'm talking here to Jack from Insta360. Hello. Thank you for volunteering to chat to us. Okay, so 360. Who's using it? What photographers, videographers? What are they using it for?
Okay, so I would say that maybe for the 360 sort of capabilities, we're looking more towards the wedding photographers or wedding videographers, and just generally behind the scenes stuff maybe, and for anyone that just wants to be a little bit more creative with their footage that they're doing. So it might be a lot of people from event spaces, so if they're walking around spaces, they want to be able to move the video around, or even people who are doing shows, for instance. So if someone is a comedian and you've got a film crew there, it's nice to have just one of these setups so that it can catch the stage as well as the audience. Don't forget, it's always filming in 360, so any scale that you're looking to get, you can rescale within our app as well. So I would say, definitely wedding videographers and photographers are using these most, it seems, from talking to people, than anyone.
Yeah, and I was just looking at the screen. There's some of the stuff that you're showing there. Yeah. For some of the sports stuff, it's incredible. For the skiing that was going on, for people that are into action stuff, whether it's fast moving or not doesn't really matter. But it gives a new dynamic.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, predominantly our X3 and the Ace Pro are action cameras, with our Go 3 being sort of like a hybrid camera, we could say. Yeah. It has the point of view for the Go 3, so like a little lens. I can show you. It pulls out into a tiny little camera.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And going back to wedding photographers, a lot of people are using these for behind the scenes. So what they're doing is attaching this to the top of their camera, and then all you have to do is literally click a button here. It starts recording continuously for 45 minutes. So just getting those little short burst videos. Yeah. That's where we're seeing a lot of people for this sort of style. But don't forget, also it is the hybrid camera. So it's an action camera now with a monitor as well. So good for vlogging, good for action. You can mount it to yourself like a normal GoPro as well. So it's a nice little hybrid camera, that is.
Yeah.
This one here. So is this more, you say, the action camera kind of thing? Yep.
So this is called the Ace Pro. It shoots in up to 8K. If 8K is your thing, then it's a camera to go for. It's got a Leica lens, 1-inch sensor. The low light on it is delicious.
A Leica lens, that's going to sell you, isn't it?
The low light is delicious on it. I took it to Madrid recently just to really test it. And at 10:30 at night, it's just gorgeous. My wife's walking down a bridge. It's a little bit rainy, so there's like reflections on the ground. Yeah. And I'm not edited it at all, but it's beautiful to look at. Yeah. So the low light on it's brilliant.
What sort of pixelations on this one?
It is lovely. It is very lovely. Yeah. Yeah, it is lovely.
Was it 8K or
8K? Yeah, 8K. So anywhere from 2.7K up to 8K. Yeah. So yeah, that's where you're heading towards that. It's waterproof up to 10 meters without any casing.
Oh wow.
Which that's a real benefit compared to like somewhere like your GoPros. Yeah. And I've personally tested that in Lanzarote because I dropped it in the ocean.
And your life passed before your eyes.
I was like, no. So personally, I've tested that and it's brilliant. So the Ace Pro is gorgeous. If you look at the 360 images, the X3 again is one of the things that I take everywhere with me. I should say that I'm a travel podcaster, so I go around a lot. I've mentioned all these places like Lanzarote and Madrid, and that's what I do. So all I take with me is the X3 and the Ace Pro. I don't know if you know or not, but all of our X3s or our 360 cameras have invisible selfie sticks, so it gives the impression of a drone sort of footage. And if you've got something like this, which is our 3-meter selfie stick, carbon fiber, super light, exactly as you see now, then you're going to get those drone feel shots without having a drone. As we know in a lot of places abroad, they're banning drones.
Yeah.
A pal of mine got his drone destroyed in the airport before he even stepped out of the airport. So this is something to think about for the future, especially if you use drones.
So do you think that as part of the future, they're able to do more things now? They're branching out and maybe replacing that where the drones are. Where else do you think it's going?
I think the use of AI within our app is definitely something that is really exciting because we've got, obviously this camera's been out for about 2 years, I believe. When people bought it, they loved how it felt and how you can create things within the app. But people are coming back 2 years later with the same camera saying, oh, I love how you've updated this firmware. I love how now the AI can do this. So even though it's a 2-year-old camera, you got to imagine if you bought a camera 2 years ago, you'd now start to think about upgrading. Yeah. Without the cameras, and the X3 especially, people aren't doing that. People are saying, I'm loving what you're bringing out, and do more of that, and that's what we're excited about. The future for us is firmware and then definitely AI.
Yeah. And working with your current kit as well. I'm finding out a lot actually with manufacturers, not just a lot of people now are really thinking about not necessarily the next thing to get someone to buy, but getting something that will work with things that people have already got. So having that longevity of that product, which I think is marvelous.
And also sustainability as well, right? Rather than constantly every year buying a new kit, the sustainability of that is also great as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about retail costs? What the price does that start from the range?
Yeah, so the X3, I've got a little form over here. We've got loads of show offers on today,
It starts around the £400 mark for just the unit. The Ace Pro is about $430. The Go 3 is anywhere sort of from the $350 mark upwards. And we've got other things like gimbals. We've got the Flow Creator Kit, which is fabulous. It really, if you go abroad or if you want just those nice little shots, we've got a little gimbal there. But we've got our Deep Track on there as well. So if you're a chef who is doing some kind of like virtual cooking, you can have it set up. So it follows you as you're moving and you're cooking. So these are brilliant as well.
Oh, yeah, excellent stuff.
Great stuff. Well, Jack, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. All right, cheers. Thank you.
So we're here with Matthias from Hobolite.
Yep.
We stopped here because your products look really funky.
Yeah.
They look really cool.
They do.
So what do they do?
So these are continuous lighting.
Okay.
All have the very easy operational modus. You got a big color light, and you change your color temperature quite easy from 27 up to 6,500.
Wow, okay.
And you easily change the power of your light. They all are very high quality built, so if you want to have it in your hand, you can see it's aluminium. It's very high quality. The technology inside, it's a unique light source.
Yeah.
Which brings your color directly on the spot where it should be.
Quite soft as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So you got the diffuser here. The nice thing with this light is it's all magnetic. You can take them off. You put easily some filters either directly on the light, or again you put the barn doors on, take the diffuser off. Oops, sorry, and put that on.
Yeah, very good.
What are people mainly using these for? What sort of photography would you say?
So the smaller ones, they are mainly for this one very often used for macro photography and broader photography for the bows.
Yeah.
This one is often used as a second light for portrait, and that's the ideal light for portrait use. This has a 100 watt.
100 watt. Okay, cool.
And our strongest one is up there. It has 300 watts.
Okay.
So everything's getting smaller now, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Really good.
Well, it's small, it's retro, and that's absolutely the trend today, where people really are looking for the retro stuff, etc. So it's really good.
It's got a style to it. You can put it in a backpack.
Yes.
It's portable. You can carry it on.
And this is where the name is coming from the hobos in the 20s who moved around all over the US. Yeah, this is the style. And if you see here, they all come in very nice portable bags. So this mini bag comes in here, the micro in that. It's all very portable.
Let's have a look, because Cam, you like a bag, don't you?
I do.
Let's have a look at one of these, but you do like a bag.
And the thing is, they've certainly got that. The whole look is very. The colour schemes that you've got.
Old school Hollywood, isn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, it makes it really attractive. I think it's. That's beautiful, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, and it has got that weight to it.
Many people say, if Leica would have a light baby, it would look like that.
Yeah. Look at that, the size of that, just in your palm, really.
And how much is a kit like this? So you got obviously the light here. Yeah. This is.
So the beauty is here you got a changeable battery. And you got here 2 extra batteries,
right?
Which you either change or you use them as a power bank.
It's a charger.
It's a charger and got 2 batteries inside.
Yeah. Okay.
So
at full power, how long would it last for?
With one battery, about an hour.
Right.
With full power, and there you got two additional, so it's about for 3 hours.
Right. Yeah.
And this kit costs at the show $228, and normally it's about $270.
That sounds really competitively priced.
Yeah. But what if I wanted to go for something this size? Well,
there are also very, very much different options. The standard option starts at 760, and it goes up. If you have a setup like this with softbox and a very great stand, it goes up to 1,100-1,200.
Okay, so quite the investment, but as we said, the quality of it.
The quality is very high, and it's for the next years. It's not something you have for 2 years and
then you can skip it. It's going to last a long time, isn't it?
Yeah. Excellent stuff. Well, good luck with the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Enjoy your day.
Yeah. See you. Brilliant. Thank you. Okay, so I'm talking to Larry. Larry, you're from Aquatech, and I think your product is going to be of interest to everyone because I think it's quite fascinating. It shows that people can get into any type of photography here.
Absolutely. It raises your level of creativity.
I know, and this is to do with underwater photography. So tell us what you've got here, how it works, how any photographer can take advantage of this.
Well, we're not a dive company. People say I don't scuba dive. We say we don't either. It's for 10 meters or less. are basically if you want to do fast action sports like surfing, kayaking, sailboating, fishing. Those are big markets for us. It's fashion, if you want to do fashion photography or advertising, those are a big deal too. Anywhere you need ergonomics, lightweight, budgeted also, because it's going to be about half the price, sometimes even more than a dive housing. Those are bulky and they tend to not be for this market here. So we've been in business for 25 years. We also make for Joby, for the phone cases, it's for the iPhone 12 to 15, and for the Samsung 22, 23, and 24. It's based on the technology of our housings. We've been making those since 2017 for Aquatech. Joby has approached us, now we make them for Joby.
I see. Okay, cool. I'd say, I mean, these look. I was just thinking when I was watching you, like speaking to somebody else, one of the most sort of frightening things any photographer can do is put their really expensive camera and trust into a case and trust it, and it's going to go in the water and it's going to be fine. So, I mean, these things look incredible. How do you operate them underwater?
Well, underwater, you have full control through the backplate. We have setup tips on our website that tells you the best way to set up your camera to work it in an housing. We have zoom. There's your zoom.
I love it.
And then the wide range of ports, like I said, it really depends on the style of shooting you want, your angle of view, your physical length of your lens, whether it be zoom or prime. This is for a 24 to 105 f4 Canon. So you have that. We have also the base housing, which comes with no control for the entry level. If budget is a concern, or you're not sure if you really want to get into it, lesser price. We have a conversion kit that later on you can convert it to a Pro for about half the price. Another part of our company is that everything is convertible. If you buy a unit for the R5 Canon, they come out with the R5 II, a conversion kit for half the price. You don't have to buy a whole new housing.
Which is really good.
Right.
So for long term, you really are thinking about keeping your fine. For the rest of them.
The different ports like the dome, which you're going to use for that split level, really nice shot. Or underwater. You have the flat ports for above water. You can go above or below with either one. But for best quality, we have recommendations for which to use.
Is this setup really quite easy? Is it just a matter of opening it up, popping the camera in, close it, and you're good to go?
If you got a second, I'll show you real quick. Pop it open, take that off because that is convertible. You can change it to anything you want. Pull that out.
Okay, so what camera have we got in here then?
This is an R5 Canon. The cable release allows you to plug into your remote shutter. Because everything's electronic for the shutter. There's our zoom gear. Goes onto the lens. This is camera specific, the camera plate. So in the conversion kit, you would get a different cable release, a different camera plate, and a different back plate. You're ready to switch upgrade, switch to a different manufacturer, whatever you want to do. We have customers who shoot stills with an R5. They shoot video with a Sony. They have one unit, one conversion kit, so they can do whatever they like.
That's good.
Very simple. Put on the camera plate. Plug in your cable release. Drop it in. Tuck away your cords. Pop on your back plate. And you're ready to get in.
I mean, see, how heavy is that? Is that... Okay, so it is, there's quite a weight to it.
A little bit, but they're positive buoyant. So in the water, it's going to be a lot less.
Of course.
We do offer accessories like a leash. I'll tell you, it will float, but it will float away.
So I would probably need one of those, I think.
But also at the same time, I think it gives you confidence in having that way because you feel that you've got something that is sturdy. And I think also it makes you feel that you need to know that you're holding it properly when you're actually working with it. If it's too lightweight, it's very easy just to be doing that, I guess. So I think from that point of view, you really want something that's solid. So something like this, if someone's got something like an R5 or a Z9, something like that, what's the sort of retail price of that? starting from
this unit right here with the port, the zoom gear, the housing, is going to be about $2,700.
Right. Okay.
So it's highly affordable. Yeah. That's actually versus you're going to go double, triple that if you get into some sort of dive housing.
Yes.
Sorry, I know you said it earlier. What kind of depths can you go with this? 10 meters or less. I mean, 10 meters. That's what we test to.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, fantastic.
Great. It's something to get into, something new to get into.
Yeah, someone else to spend our money on exam, man. And pardon the pun, but if you just want to get your feet wet a little, great, you can start with this. So what's that for then? This is for iPhone 12 to 15 or Samsung 22, 23, 24 series.
Well, this is a 12, I think.
And what does that retail at?
$220 for the housing. Because you don't have to have the dome port.
Okay.
You don't have to have that. You don't have to have the pistol.
Okay.
Just the housing retails for $220.
Yeah.
You'd have to look at the site. These are somewhere near $200, but $220 for the housing itself. Comes with a lanyard. You can get right in the water. Yeah. Touch screen. It's ready to go.
And the benefit of this?
That will get you that split level.
Yeah. So
and underwater. Right.
Through and over.
Right. You want the dome to push the water away from your lens, and it makes that water line really thin and crisp, and you can see it nice. Oh, very cool.
Yeah, I think this is something definitely worth looking into, Mark. Something new. Love this. There you go. Yeah.
All right. And we're available. If you go to the Manfrotto website, Aquatech is available.
Yeah.
If you want Joby, you go to the Joby website. It's available. Everything's available now.
Yeah.
We're very happy to be a part of Indendum's family. Yeah. They are now Aquatech's Europe distributor.
Yeah. I'm just impressed by the affordability of it.
Yeah.
I really am. I think that's it opens it out to so many people.
And if you purchase at the show at WEX, there's a discount. So it's even more.
As we always say, the shows
are always the place to go if you want to buy. So there's no excuse not to get in the water.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, apart from the British weather, maybe, but you know.
Larry, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Have a nice show.
Okay, guys. So I'm here on the London Camera Exchange stand. I'm talking to Sean, the sales director here. So, Sean, thank you for joining us.
No worries.
What's hot this year?
So Nikon's been flavour of the month so far. Canon is obviously doing very well. All the big lenses are what the pros have been buying today. Yep. So it'd be interesting to see how it unfolds tomorrow.
Is there a particular camera model that's been selling faster than others? Or?
The Nikon Z8 has been very popular.
Yeah.
As you'd expect. Z9 again from Nikon has been very good. Canon R5, the R6 IIs have also done very well. OM system has been very popular with the OM1 Mark II, and of course their fantastic 150 to 400. Absolutely blew us out of the water with the quantity we should have brought. So it's been a hot box.
Yeah. Anything that memory cards, things like that people always want, you know, which you're armed with, aren't you? And
I tell you what, it's really been a bag year. From an accessory point of view.
I've noticed a lot of bag stalls generally this year compared to other years.
Absolutely, and for us, we bought a lot more bags than we usually do. I don't know why. We must have been psychic, but we could not have forecast how many bags have gone in particular. Peak Design really been very big for us this year, and Think Tank. So. They've turned us some really strong numbers.
Bags have become it's a fashion accessory now, isn't it? Really, I think that's one of the upsurge in that. And there's so many different designs and things now as well. So when it comes to lenses and buying something new against buying something old, it's a second-hand market because I'm guessing you've got second-hand equipment here is used.
So we basically do instant trading. So we don't bring any used with us at all.
Yeah.
So we start on that side at our trade-in zone.
Yeah.
The kit comes through, it gets cleaned, it gets checked, and then it goes out the other side. Used is a big seller for us at the show, and of course trade-in for the customers is a really important aspect for them.
How much stuff do you get through during
it's thousands of bits of kit. It's
it's a great bit of recycling, really, isn't it? I mean, it's a great way of doing it.
Absolutely. I mean, it really underpins the UK photo market. I think all the other countries in Europe are starting to realise that part exchange is a thing.
Yeah.
But here, obviously, it's a massive part of our culture in the industry. So.
Well, I've done a lot of it. I mean, I've also bought a lot of stuff
And of course, a lot of people start off that way, and I'm sure tomorrow, with the student day and that sort of thing, that our use will get depleted quite quickly. So
I noticed that there were printers as well. There seem to be a lot of printers. Are you doing a trade in printers at all?
So printers, we didn't really bring any really big printers or anything with us, but yeah, we've done a few on special order and that sort of thing. So again, I think it's one of those areas where you can't really judge what is going to happen with it, but it's been quite hot.
And then with the way things are on the market with cost of living, that type of thing, have you seen the spend to be? Is it sort of been equivalent to last year, or would you say it's gone down or up, or would you say there's
a year and a half ago?
Year and a half.
It was September 2022.
Yeah,
it was obviously the last show, which was thrown into disarray because it was the Queen's funeral, unfortunately.
Yes.
So it was only a 3-day event.
Yeah.
So I'm very pleased to say that after the first 2 days, we'd already done more than we'd done in 2022. I think that was a tough show. And I think it's good to see the turnout this year. Really shows that people are still hungry for it and want to attend the exhibitions and really get down with the nitty-gritty, even if they're not parting with as much cash as perhaps they previously had done. But definitely the higher value ticket items are what are selling.
Yeah.
So it's the people with the money are buying the product. So there's not so much of the aspirational sort of £1,000 stuff is not really the big volumes. The big volumes is coming with the big ticket items.
Great stuff. Yeah, and you guys are one of the most established retailers, and you can see the show deals here.
Yeah.
I mean, there's loads of them, and this is the place really, and the time to come and buy.
There's not a better time to buy.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
So we've got 26 stores around the country. So anybody who buys with us here, there's going to be a store local to them.
Yeah.
And they know they're going to get looked after by an expert. In store, and of course it's actually a very big show for us this year because we announced the winners of our Photographer of the Year competition yesterday, and we got the exhibition in the welcome area. So 13,000 entries we had. So we were absolutely blown away by that.
Yeah.
So stuff. I knew you're going to be running that again.
Absolutely. It was our first year. Hard year. We learned some lessons.
Yeah, it's going to be with the first year.
Absolutely. So next year, looking forward to it already.
Right. All right. So brilliant. Okay. Cool. Thanks for that, Sean. Okay. Great. Okay.
Right then, guys. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed coming along the photography show with us. Cam, what did you think?
Great, as always. So much to see, so much to do, so much to buy. It's got bigger. It's got better. There's so many speakers, so many workshops going on. There's a vibe. The industry needs that vibe.
Yeah.
And it encourages the new stuff that we've seen, the new ideas that we've seen, AI, VR, the stuff that, Canon have been sort of showing us as well.
Yeah.
Privileged to see some of that as well.
Yeah.
And I think it really shows the industry moving forward. I think that's been the best thing.
Yeah, and it's good to see that it's busy as well, there is a cost of living crisis at the moment, and that hasn't seemed to have affected the sales today, which is what a lot of people have been saying. So that's been nice to see. Innovations, like you said, it's been great to get our hands on some of the cameras. I think the highlights for me, obviously the Canon stuff with the VR was really interesting. The Nikon, the Z8 or the Z8, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
And also, the Fuji, the X100 6, I thought was really cool to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, and also video. We've been on video this time round.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Yeah, so a new thing for us. I hope that was all good for you guys back home. Next week, back to our usual service. We have an interview with Tommy Reynolds for you to listen to. But until then, we'll see you soon.